Hi guys, how's it everyone? So today is the day, the most spoken about day of this year probably, when Pluto enters the sign of Aquarius. So that's 23rd of March 2023, and that's exactly what happened today. Pluto entered into the sign of Aquarius after it's been in a sign of Capricorn since 2008. It will re-enter the sign of Capricorn twice more in a retrograde and then return into Aquarius. So I've got the days ready for you, but I just wanted to acknowledge that Pluto has not been in the sign of Aquarius since 1798. So the last time it transited through the sign of Aquarius was between 1778 and 1798. So it seems Pluto really likes sign of Aquarius because it spends 20 years in there, and it doesn't do that with every sign. Its cycle is 248 years around the entire zodiac, and it's quite irregular orbit, so it spends different period of time in different zodiac sign. But it obviously likes Aquarius because that's where he hangs around the most, the longest, and it obviously makes the biggest changes while being in that sign. So to give you some dates, today, March 23rd, 2023, Pluto entered Aquarius for the first time. It will only get to 22 minutes, so 0 degrees 22 minutes until that will happen on the 1st of May, when it starts the retrograde again, and it will re-enter the sign of Capricorn on the 11th of June, which is interesting because it reaches 22 minutes. 22 is a master number. It will re-enter Capricorn on the 11th of June. 11th is the master number. It will continue the retrograde until 11th of October, again the number 11. And then obviously it will move forward, and then it will re-enter Aquarius again on the 20th of January 2024. It will briefly re-enter Capricorn on the 1st of September until November 19th, 2024, and then it will stay in Aquarius non-stop until March 8th, 2043, when it for the first time enters into sign of Pisces. Then it will re-enter Aquarius again on the 31st of August 2043, and then it will leave the sign of Aquarius for good on January 19th, 2044, when it will move into the sign of Pisces. So here we are, guys, 20 plus years of Pluto in Aquarius. As all astrologers out there are talking about, you can find lots of videos on this theme, and there will be lots more to come, because this is a transformative energy that will change the human collective forever. It will never go back to the same as what it's been in a past. And I personally, myself, did an interview with my friend Makayla, fellow evolutionary astrologer, and you can check out the video. I put the link below. It's on her YouTube channel, Scenic Route Astrology. And we are actually doing a Q&A on Monday the 27th at 7 p.m. Eastern Time. It's a free live Zoom, so if you guys would like to ask us any questions, or do some brainstorming on this theme, then do jump in. You can email Makayla, she will send you the Zoom link, and you can join us for the party on Monday, and we can talk about Pluto in Aquarius some more. But the one thing that I wanted to acknowledge, I don't want to make this video very long, because obviously there are lots of videos on this theme, and as I mentioned just now, I already did one video with Makayla, and there'll be obviously more yet to come. And this is a theme that astrologers will be bringing forward for the upcoming 20 years. So as the time goes on, and the more information will unveil for us as a collective, because Pluto moves very, very slowly but surely, and the changes that are applied throughout Pluto's transit through any sign is no going back after that. It really makes the changes for good. So as the time will go on during this 20-year transit, we will see and understand in the manifestation realm what actually this means for us, because any planet just offers energies. So at this point, nobody really knows exactly what's going to happen. A lot of astrologers obviously offering predictions, their point of view. This is all possibilities. A lot of it is high probabilities, but nobody knows 100% how this energy is going to manifest exactly. One thing that is for sure is that the transformation is imminent, and the human collectives will change forever. So the world 20 years from now, by 2043, 44, will be a completely different change, different place. And this is one thing that is guaranteed. But apart from that, how exactly it's going to map out, it's everybody's guess. At this point, everybody is just giving their best guess. And we only have to wait, see, and experience it to see, and also how it applies to each and every one of us in our life experience, because Pluto is going to impact the collective, which of course will change our life, all of us. It will impact all of us living on this planet at this time, but it will also impact our individual life, and in which way or how, it depends where Pluto is in your chart, where is the sign of Aquarius, so where Pluto will be transiting, and also if you have any planet in that sign and what aspect Pluto will be making from that sign. So it impacts everybody in different way, but it will impact collective in a way that everybody will feel at the same time. So there will be two different timelines going on at the same time, your own personal life and then the collective timeline. But one thing that I wanted to mention, that actually today, at the time when Pluto has entered the sign of Aquarius, we have a tons of closing cycles and new beginnings. So as we know, we just had a new moon in Aries, and a majority of the planets currently are in a sign of Aries. We have Saturn in a sign of Pisces and Neptune in a sign of Pisces. So this is all about the endings. Pisces is the last sign of the zodiac, so it's closing some cycles. It's obviously Saturn is going to dissolve the structures and help us to restructure the definition of reality we want to live in. And Neptune is showing us where things no longer hold meaning, and what do we need to change in order for our life to have a meaning, or for us to feel that we live in a life of a meaning. And then we have all these planets currently in the sign of Aries, and Aries, as mentioned many times before, and I'm sure you heard it from everyone, Aries is all about the new beginnings. We just had the spring or autumn equinox, depends what hemisphere you live in, which is classed as the beginning of the season, beginning end of one season, beginning of another. So it's obviously a shift from something that just ended into something new that's beginning. And we have a Mercury in a new phase to Sun. Sun is obviously now on a second degree of Aries. Mercury is ahead of the Sun, so there is a new direction, new phase. Obviously, Mercury is all about the communication. It's also about the duality of our reality. So what new information are we gathering? What are we learning? At the same time, Mercury is in a balsamic phase, so closing phase. There is a closing cycle between Mercury and Chiron. Chiron is the wounded healer of our collective. So Mercury is bringing some information that could help us to heal this wound that we all face in as a collective. And at the same time, Mercury is in a balsamic phase also to Jupiter, which is all about our belief system, our perception of reality. So how do we see this world? What are we believe the truth is, and how do we identify it for ourselves? And Jupiter, being in the sign of Aries, is trying to figure out a new way to identify what it is that we are part of, and what is the ultimate truth, and how do we want to change our belief system in order to embark into this new path, new direction. At the same time, Moon just entered the sign of Taurus. So it's for the next 2.5 days, it will be transiting sign of Taurus, and it's in a closing phase to the North Node. North Node just made a conjunction with Venus. So North Node is our collective destiny, where we head in. Obviously, it's been in a sign of Taurus for over a year now. It will remain there until July, when it will shift into the sign of Aries. Again, new beginnings. Venus just made a conjunction. So Venus is actually the ruler of the North Node at the moment. So that again is telling us about reevaluating and rediscovering our essential needs, our priorities, what really matters to us, where we stand in relation to ourselves, what needs to change, where we stand in relation to other people, how do we want to relate to others, how do we want others to relate to us. And at the same time, Venus is in a closing phase to Uranus, and Uranus is obviously the great awakener, is the experience that we've all been having collective for the past like 6-7 years. Uranus is shorter, so that's about 3-4 years. We've been experiencing where the things that we were able to rely on in our material world as are becoming, fracturing, and they showing us where things are no longer sustainable, or where our priorities are changing, where things that were meaningful to us in the past, which we held on to, which we found value in, perhaps we don't see value in them anymore, and we are having different priorities. We also might see relationships in a completely different light, and might want to embark on a journey that will bring a lot of changes. And that's actually highly likely with all these energies. And also we have Mars that just made a square to the new moon that just happened a few days ago. Mars is actually just about to enter the sign of Cancer, which will happen this Saturday. Mars is on a 29 degrees of Gemini, where it's been since September, so it's been there forever, which is not normal for Mars. Mars never stays in one sign, well, never, usually doesn't stay in one sign for that long. So what is all this telling us is that we are there is a potential for a lot of new beginnings, as has been advocated to us by this new moon in Aries, but a lot of cycles still have to end. There is still a lot of planets that are in a closing cycle to other planets, so there is these opportunities for us to culminate certain experiences and certain perceptions in order to embark on this new journey. And now with Pluto joining into this new cycle and entering the sign of Aquarius, this changes everything, because it's literally telling us that we are embarking this route, this journey that will lead towards self-empowerment and towards liberation. But in order to get there, there is still a lot of work that needs to be done. There is still a lot of culmination, a lot of readjusting, a lot of letting go. And even though we are already in a sign of Aries, which is new beginning, we just had the equinox, which is a new beginning, but there are still a lot of things that are culminating, and that's practically what's happening at the same time as Pluto is entering the sign of Aquarius. And as I just mentioned at the beginning of this video, actually it's going to be there only for a short time, only until the 11th of June. And out of that, almost, 1/3 of it will be in retrograde. So that's, again, it will be reevaluating, going back onto the same track, like what still needs to be adjusted, what still needs to change. So as I said, I don't want to make this video very long. I just wanted to give few information in regards to this, because I personally can't really tell you exactly how life is going to change. The fact that it's going to change, it's 100%. And also it's going to be different for everyone, depend which part of your journey you are at, how much you've already changed and what changes you implemented into your personal life, how much you've adjusted the things that that no longer serve you and you don't want to keep in your life anymore. So which one of those have you already let go of? Which one of those you are aware of that still needs changing, and there needs to be still an action taken towards this. Pluto transiting through the sign of Aquarius is going to impact us on every level. It's gonna impact our physical body because Pluto is, characterizes our DNA. Obviously in Aquarius everything is accelerated, so there will be further changes to our DNA, to our structure as a human. Obviously the fact that Pluto is always moving, so we also always constantly transmuting and changing as human beings, because as everybody usually uses this example, if a person from beginning of 20th century suddenly was teleported to our time and age, they would probably not make it because of the quality of air now and water and the food we eat, and like the fastness of life and all the noise. Like, it's not something that people were familiar with like hundreds of years ago, right? So our human body is obviously constantly readjusting and acclimatizing to the new conditions. It's a gradual process because, as mentioned, Pluto moves very slowly. So this is happening very slowly. But now, obviously, looking back 20 years ago, we can see how much world has changed. But in that moment to moment process, we don't notice it so much. It's just like, obviously, after the time has passed, and then we look back into the past, we can see what everything has changed. Then obviously the way we think, the way we communicate is going to change. As everybody's talking about, there is all this AI that is advancing at a very rapid speed and is becoming more and more part of our life, and it's going to continue to do so. The technology will accelerate even further, especially after Uranus will move into the sign of Gemini in 2026. So the progress is unstoppable. It's just the way that how we choose to respond to it and how it's going to impact us individually, that will differ. But it's going to impact the whole world, the collective. And then, of course, there is the spiritual aspect of things, which is something that me and Makayla talked about more in depth during our chat, on which you can check in the video on her channel. And it will also impact us as a spiritual being, how we respond to everything that's happening and to this reality. And that's why it's so important, which I keep talking about in my videos, how important it is to reconnect to your intuition and to your higher guidance. Because there will be a lot of chaos, there will be a lot of distractions around us, and it will be difficult to distinguish truth from the lie and to know what is the right direction and which way to go, because there will be all these multiple directions and forks in a road, and you'll have all these choices and you'll have to decide which one you want to take, and nobody will be able to make the decision for you, which is why it's so important, these current transits, for people to actually get to know themselves, not each other, but themselves first, and recognize what it is for them that matters, who they are, what they want, what they believe, what they want to believe, which direction they want to go, how do they want to visualize their future to be. And Pluto can help you with that. And or it can obviously make things more harder as well, because Pluto is our fears, it's our subconscious limitations. It's a planet that is the furthest away from the sun, so it represents our subconscious. It's not something that is visible necessarily on day-by-day basis. That's why even the transits, it's not something that impacts us immediately, like the change, you don't see it straight away. Probably for most people, nothing major happened today. But it's something that slowly erodes what is no longer working and brings it to the surface for reevaluation and integration, for change. That's why it represents the metamorphosis process, that in order for us to become stronger, we need to let the old version of ourselves die. And that process could be, well, how hard it is, it depends on our level of resistance. So this is pretty much what's going to be happening in the next 20 years. It will require a lot of readjustments, a lot of letting go, a lot of metamorphosis on individual basis for each and every one of us in different areas of our life. Obviously, as I mentioned, it depends where Pluto will be transiting and what planets it will be touching and which aspects it will be making to other planets, that will then offer energy of like that will be more challenging or less challenging, and like how exactly it's going to impact you, like each and every one of us. So yeah, anyway, I don't want to really get too deep into the rabbit hole, and I'm sure that there will be plenty more videos even from myself yet to come in the upcoming times. I just wanted to acknowledge Pluto and its transits, its entrance into the sign of Aquarius, which has been spoken about for a long time, and it will be spoken about for a long time yet to come. And me, myself, I'm a Pluto in Scorpio generation. So actually this transit in upcoming few years, it's going to square Pluto in Aquarius will square my natal Pluto. And this is going to be happening for everyone with the Pluto in Scorpio, because obviously Aquarius is a fixed sign. So it squares Scorpio and Leo. And so also that will be happening for people with Pluto in Leo generation. and people in Taurus. It squares Scorpio and Taurus and is in opposition with Leo. So people with Pluto in Leo will have a Pluto opposition, and people with Pluto in Taurus or Pluto in Scorpio will have the square, right? So, but to be honest, there probably isn't anybody alive that is Pluto in Taurus. That person would have to be very, very old, even though, I mean, I'm sure there are people who are hundreds years old. It's just they're not really publicly known, just in case. But anyway, so it's gonna be Pluto in Scorpio generation that will be experiencing the square, and Pluto in Leo that will be experiencing the opposition. And then obviously the new generation that will be born from now on will be the Pluto in Aquarius. So those will be the rebels of the Aquarian age, the completely new beings that are being born in this time. Obviously, as many people observe already, Pluto in Sag and Pluto in Capricorn generations are very different from the previous generations. So we can only imagine what the Pluto in Aquarius children will be like. Very unusual. Okay, guys, so before I get myself even more lost into all of this, I'm gonna say goodbye for now. Once again, I want to remind everyone, if you haven't yet seen my interview and, well, my chat with Makayla, you can check it out on her YouTube channel, Scenic Route Astrology. And don't forget to give it a like and subscribe. And also, if you enjoy my content, please give it a like and subscribe. And if you would like to join us for our live Q&A, which will be happening on Monday 27th, you can contact Makayla and she will send you the link for the live Zoom. It's completely for free. It will start at 7 p.m. Eastern time, and you can ask us any questions and we can have a little chat about Pluto in Aquarius, because this is the hot topic at the moment. So I wish everybody a great day, and yeah, let's see what Pluto in Aquarius will bring to us collectively and individually. Much love to all, and I speak to you soon. Bye.